All right, I'd like to call the Village of Weston Plan Commission and Joint Town and Village of Weston ETZ Committee meeting to order for Monday, October 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Cronin,
Here.
Zagami,
Here.
Asen,
Here.
Gurnt is not here.
He's excused. He called.
How about Hoffman,
I have not heard from Trout.
Jordan,
Here.
Lumber?
Here.
And ETZ roll call.
Okay, Cronin,
Here.
Phelps,
Here.
Christensen,
Here.
Gurnt is excused, Halt,
Here.
and Lumber.
Here.
All right, item number 2, open public comment period for items that do not appear on this agenda. Note as public hearings. I do have one comment here that is, I'm going to read in under agenda item number 7, so I'll wait on that one. Is there any other comments that anybody would like to hear? Or anybody would like to make? Second time, any comments? Anybody online with me?
No one's come off mute.
Okay, third time, any comments? Hearing none, we'll move along. Item number 3, written communications, disclosures, and recusals. Members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals during this time. Do we have any? All right, item number 4, minutes from September 8th, 2025 Plan Commission meeting. We have a motion by Deason.
I'll second.
Second by Jordan on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Item number 5, this is for the ETZ, minutes from August 11th, 2025 ETZ committee meeting.
Move to approve.
Motion by Hull,
Second.
second by Phelps on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Sorry.
It's all right. Item number 6, public hearing, project number 2025-0376. Rezone filed by Jason Flagger, North Central Land Surveying LLC on behalf of property owners Wood Violet Trust and Scott and Jennifer Summer. The request would rezone a portion of the following parcels to allow a land swap via a future certified survey map. Parcel 192-2808-241-0993 Wood Violet Trust. Rezone from SFL, single family residential large lot, to RR5 rural residential 5 acre. And parcel number 192-2808-241-0997 Scott and Jennifer Summer, 10010 Schofield Avenue, Ringgold. Rezone from RR5 rural residential 5 acre to SFL single family residential large lot. I'll open the public hearing. Presentation by staff or the applicants if they're present.
Okay, all right, so if you look up on the screen, you'll see the 2 little areas that they're going to be swapping. So I did include the certified survey map in the packet. What will happen is lot 2 will become the Sommers property. They also have this strange little lot that you kind of see there where I have the RR5. That's going to be combined into that lot 1, because right now there are 3 separate parcels. The Sommers own 2, and then the Wood Violet Trust owns what would be lot 1 adjacent to the Eau Claire River. So what they want to do is, if you look further, you can kind of see that I put an aerial. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, I did. So on page 36, you can kind of see what they're doing there. So they're swapping the basically farmland and the woods. So Wood Violet Trust is going to get the woods, and the Sommer property will get the green space area. So they're basically making some new lot lines to utilize the way they use the property. And in order to do that, we have to rezone those small portions because these properties are zoned differently.
All right, anything else? Is the applicant present as well? Would you care to make a comment at all? No?
No, this presented well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public comment on item number 6 specifically. Do we have any comments? Second time, any comments? Anybody with their hands up? No. Third time, any comments? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. I presume staff recommends approval.
We do.
Okay.
So there is a determination that you need to go through. And this would go to the village board. The determination starts in the middle, page 36 of your packet, or no,
35.
35, up further. Starts on page 34.
All right, so then discussion and recommendation to the board by the plan commission. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss, or should we move into the determination?
Yeah, determination.
Okay. Number one, is the proposed rezoning consistent with the comprehensive plan as is required by Wisconsin statutes?
Yes, yes,
Number two, does the rezoning further the purpose and intent of this chapter?
yes, yes.
Number three, does rezoning address any of the following that are not properly addressed on the current official zoning map? A mistake was made in mapping on the official zoning map, that is, an area is or has developed in a manner and purpose different from that for which it is mapped. If this reason is cited, it must be demonstrated that the discussed inconsistency between actual land use and designated zoning is not intended, as the village may intend to stop an undesirable land use pattern from being perpetuated. Two, factors have changed, such as the availability of new data, the presence of new roads or other infrastructure, additional development, annexation, or other zoning changes making the subject property more appropriate for a different zoning district. Or number three, growth patterns or rates have changed, thereby creating the need for a rezone.
Number two.
Number two.
Yes.
All right, and then finally, does the proposed zoning district maintain the desired consistency of land uses, land use intensities, and land use impacts as related to the surroundings of the subject property?
Yes.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve this as presented and the recommendation of the staff.
So we have a motion by Deason,
Second.
seconded by Mumper. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Item number 7, public hearing, project number 20220392. Amendment to conditional use permit and site plan at Ryan Street Rentals LLC, 6508 Ryan Street. This REI Ryan Street Rentals LLC. We'll open the public hearing. Presentation by staff or the applicant, whichever you desire.
You guys want to present or do you want me to try? Okay. So when this project was originally approved by the Plan Commission, there was a timeline that was given to the conditional use permit and the site plan for the project. And it was basically giving it the different dates and deadlines. There was an amendment to those deadlines that happened about a year ago. And the one that you have out there right now is the current, what would be the current deadline. So we should be basically completing the last, he was to construct phase 3. He has done everything in 3 and 4, except for the applicant has only completed one of the 4 buildings, and he is asking for this amendment to basically construct the last 3 at a later date. He does not give an exact date right now, so that's open for discussion of the Plan Commission. Basically, the site plan would be approved for 2 years, so that is kind of what staff is suggesting. Is he intends to put the buildings up, but he is not, basically the market conditions need to recover before he wants to do that. So that is the gist of the amendment. I do give a bunch of different options that the Plan Commission, you could just basically say the project is done. The use is required by conditional use permit, so then he would have to come back in at a later date to construct those 3 buildings. So it just depends on what the Plan Commission desires tonight. Staff would like to close out the project. The building inspectors have been there, between the owner and, Travis have submitted some photos, so you can see it not out there. The fence is up, the landscaping is all up, so essentially what's existing left to do is those three buildings. The pads are there, but they have been constructed in a way where they can be driven over.
With the, do you gentlemen have anything you'd like to add?
No.
No?
What is your preference, if we could ask? Are you okay with removing the timeline and you have 2 years then to complete the project?
It's really market driven, I would think. Right now, we're just seeing a flood in the market in these units. So market and finance driven.
But is that,
Not to interject quick, can you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, Jeff Nowak, 166 307 Greenville Road, Wausau.
Thank you.
but is removing the timeline of it acceptable to you?
How do you mean that, removing the timeline?
Because then you have 2 years to complete, right?
Right, so the options,
Can you explain your recommendation? And then I'd like to just know what their opinion is. Do they agree with that?
so if the plan commission wants to put a timeline on it, Jeff would like to leave it open-ended. But the fact that it's a conditional use permit, I suppose we could, because it's tied to that, we've already approved it. So I suppose you could leave it open-ended. He's allowed to build those three buildings that can come in at any time. Typically, on a site plan approval, it's only allowed for 2 years, and no matter where you're at, because you would have to come or either ask for an extension of a year to whoever the site plan approval authority is, or you would have to go through the process again to get it redone, because you don't know what that code is gonna look like in 3 years.
That's what my point was. Do you understand that if we follow staff's recommendation, it's not going to be what you would necessarily want, and it puts a timeline on when you can complete this project without having to come back here again?
So what I have on there, he would have to take out a building permit within the next 2 years. Or he would have to come back in following that.
Right. That's what I wanted to make sure you understood.
You could approve it, I guess, removing that timeline and tying it to the site plan, but really that tends to be how we handle site plans, is 2 years. So with a 1 year extension.
My only thought was 2 years is not a lot of time. I mean, if it's
It isn't.
economics driving it, 24 months is not very long, you know?
Yeah, agreed on that. 2 years would, feel like we'd be back in here, but I hope not. I hope that we build another one next year and 2 more the following year, but I just don't quite see it at this point. Our occupancy's 50% on the ones that we have approved. We did not get occupancy on the latest building. That should be this month or early next month. I think we'll be ready for inspections on that one. That's where we're kind of at.
I guess, I don't know what everybody else thinks. My 2 cents was, if we follow staff's recommendation, we're gonna put them in a situation they don't necessarily want to be in. Is there a way we can?
You have the ability to,
can-
you can put a
I would like to give
timeline.
them, seeing as they followed everything else up to this point, my preference would be to find a way to work with them to give them some additional time, but not maybe leave it open-ended forever, right? I don't know, that's my 2 cents.
Well, I think before we get too far off in the discussion, I'm gonna move this along, get public comments, because I do have one of those that needs to be read in before we get too far along here, so. Anything else that you gentlemen would like to add at this point?
Yeah, I would just like to state that, yeah, no timeline. I mean, we have, obviously taken this project along how it was supposed to be for the last 3 years. And we have all intentions on, when the market allows, to, so to speak, finish the project. So, yeah, I would definitely say that, if we can get away from the 2 year mark and kind of leave it somewhat open-ended and everybody here puts their trust in us that as we do rent them out, we will be going to finish the other 3.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So public comment, is there anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? So I have one here that I'll read to kind of kick this off and we'll go from there. This is from Thomas and Diane Allery, 6805 Fife Avenue, Schofield, Wisconsin, 54476. During the December 12th, 2022 meeting, the proposal consisted of a fence installed along the Fife Ave family properties. To date, this has not been completed. The fence in our backyard, 6805 Fife Ave, has been started and has not been completed. Landscaping to blend our properties along with the project has not been completed. The old fence was torn down. However, the area was never cleaned up, hence the following: overgrown weeds, leftover stumps, large rocks, unacceptable and unprofessional landscaping. Throwing dirt down along with grass seed is not acceptable. Therefore, we are opposed to amending the project phasing timeline as Ryan Street Rentals LLC has not met the initial promise to the households on Fife Ave. Thomas and Diane Ellery. So that's one comment. Any other comments on this item specifically? Third time, any comments? Nobody online? All right, I will close the public hearing. I think staff, you had a couple different recommendations in there, right? There's 3 of them.
Mr. Chairman.
So, yeah.
Yeah, page 43.
Page 43, okay.
I just want.
Go ahead.
I just wanted for my own clarification, they have one building up that they're renting right now.
No,
They have 4 buildings that they're renting.
And they're all ready to be occupied.
Yeah, they have the north 4 they were granted occupancy either early this year or late last year.
And gentlemen, you said that you had about what, 50% occupancy? Is that what?
Yeah, 50% occupancy of 80 units that are currently occupiable.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Roy?
My question is, because I'm confused, when I read this, the packet says on page 43, photos have been included to show that the developers completed all that had been expected of the project except for the last 3 buildings. And now the comment we received from the people there is that they have not completed all that they were supposed to do. So it's either right or it's wrong. Which is right? They did it, or they did everything, or they didn't do everything.
I don't know what they're referring to as far as the fence not being installed. The landscaping's been installed per plan. And there's a drainage swale that's grassed along the north of the buildings. So
So you would state that what's in the packet is correct, and that what the neighbors are saying was
I know.
not part of the plan?
yeah, I don't know what they're referring to specifically in that comment. So, both Travis and I have been on site. Michael's been on site. He was out there this spring. I don't know if they felt that the fence needed to be at the property line, but what was approved was the fence is installed in between all of the buildings along the north side of the site.
If you go to page 55,
Golden had a comment,
I guess that's up to the board. Do we want to, this is technically at this point just supposed to be the board. Do we want to hear this comment? Want to leave it up to the rest of you? Or the commission, I should say, not the board.
I'd like to get Michael to be finished.
Okay.
I'll just say, in general, this is what that area between the property lines of those residents and the buildings look like. I didn't observe any large dirt piles or things, I mean, it isn't perfect turf grass, but it is grass. It's not mounds of dirt.
There's a berm to create the drainage swale in between the structures and the property lines. The last time we were on site, we actually observed neighbors throwing their yard waste onto Jeff's property. So,
Does the tree line approximate the property line?
it varies, but you can see there's multiple pine trees in this picture. And those are stuff that has been planted with this project. There are several that do need to be replaced, and they're in the process of replacing those.
Thank you.
Yeah, cause I guess if my memory serves me correctly, the fence wasn't gonna just simply run along the entire backside of all the buildings. It was just in between the buildings. Like the
Correct.
building would essentially be
And along the four buildings, right, in between each one of the buildings is fence, and then it dives north from the building 1 and 4 up to the property lines and then runs along the property lines.
okay.
This was the one where the neighbors in back had concerned, multiple ones, right? It
Mhm.
was, and we really tried to address their concerns when we put this together, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I thought we did.
And I thought we did, yeah. So that's why I was concerned when I got that letter or when you read this in, because I thought, well, if they've complied with everything, why would we?
And, okay, so somebody doesn't think it looks like a golf course. Well,
I guess I agree with you
we're
then.
not-
If
we're
that's,
not-
it,
we're not
if staff
putting
is
in-
saying
We're not
that,
putting in a golf course.
yeah, staff's saying they've done what they should, and yeah, I agree. It's,
I mean, that's my feeling.
that'd be mine also.
So the photos I'm on page, I think 55. That's,
Those were ones that Travis took when they were out there.
oh, how recent was that?
2 weeks ago?
Okay.
I think it's 2 weeks ago.
It sounds like they did everything we asked them to do. And, I mean, if we have to go out and talk to a neighbor, then that's what we have to do. So
Yeah.
that would be my recommendation, that a staff person goes out there and touches base with them.
If I can make a comment.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I can appreciate where this person's coming from. The way that our fence was designed is, it's right on their lot line. And about halfway through, it comes back to the building, so I'm assuming that maybe they thought it was supposed to go across the entire width of their lot line, and it splits it right about in half. So half of their property has a fence right on the lot line, half doesn't. Is what I can appreciate for this address, knowing where it is. This is the very first address when we enter through the gate, right there. So I can appreciate that they maybe thought the fence was going across their entire back. But looking at the plans, and it just goes to the building. How it was designed.
Thank you. What's your pleasure? Any more discussion, or would someone like to make a motion?
Well, I just have one last question. So the other 3 potential buildings, is there actually a slab there?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the slab is
You
in
can
place.
see it on one of the pictures. There's 3 white. You can
Alright.
see the white spots in the parking lot.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that's the slabs.
I personally would be in favor of giving them additional time.
That's where I was gonna go. I think 2 years is not enough, but I don't like open-ended either. And I was wondering what the committee thought about maybe 4 years.
So that's Kuzno's Auto on the left, correct? Okay. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I think at this point, they've done their diligence with what needed to be cleaned up along all the neighboring properties,
And
and nobody can see this.
I understand the financial downturn too, and, you know, they need to have it.
You could come back and ask for extension,
Yeah, but I think,
Well, to me, to give them, as you suggest, 4 years would seem reasonable based on them needing to come in and get a building permit that would be the same as what they've already constructed. Staff would have control over that, correct?
Correct.
And hopefully we don't have any significant changes in the code that would affect that particular type of building in the next 4 years. I mean, are there any other code considerations, John, that you're thinking
Well,
about?
they would be commercial code.
Yeah, it's commercial
It'd
code.
be whatever the state decides to do.
The state recently adopted IBC 2021. This was approved under 2015, but for the storage occupancy, there wasn't really any major changes. So
But that would be your expectation as staff, is that the buildings would have to be
They would
built
need to comply with current code at that time
current
because
code, not as they're necessarily built today.
correct, because the approval letter from the state is gonna expire before that four-year window expires.
Are you guys good with that?
Yeah, understood there.
It's just, you'd have to resubmit the plans.
Yeah, understood there. If we could put it out to 5 years, that'd be great.
I think 5 years is reasonable. I mean, that's clean. It's 2025 or it's nice and clean, 2030. I'm fine with 5 years.
Okay. So I'd make a motion.
I think the option just that you're looking at would maybe be the second one that Jen
Right,
has
yeah,
here.
that's
Okay,
what I
I just
agree.
want, all right, perfect.
So I'd make a motion to amend the CUP timeline to allow to the 3 buildings we built in the future by a set date determined by the plan commission. This date would be end of 2030. The applicant would just need to apply for a building permit for each building, consistent with what the state requirements are for commercial. Normal site plan approval then by staff.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Jordan, seconded by Mumper. On the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, moving right along. Is the only thing that we have on here for ETZ item number 9.
Yeah, but 8 shouldn't take too much.
Okay. Just 8 on that speaker. Sorry for the wait, guys. All right, item number 8, final plat approval of Granite Ridge subdivision, Riverside Land Surveying and Timber Ridge Builders LLC, project number 2025-0324.
All right, last month you saw the preliminary plat for the new subdivision. That will consist of a mix. Majority of it will be single-family homes. There'll be 67 single-family homes and then 20 duplex/twin home lots that you approved a rezone for along State Highway 29. The phasing plan is what Jamie has up on the screen. They're planning to do this project in, I believe, 2 phases. This first phase would be the area in purple that you're seeing there, along with the roads put in that they're highlighting. They would be looking at starting this project as soon as possible. So these potentially could start going online next year, probably late next year. There is a couple things that we probably need to talk about just a little bit on the plat that were found. So we weren't exactly sure how to handle them. Originally, they came in as outlots, but there are 2 encroachments from neighbors along Mary Lane on 2 of the lots there. So it impacts lots 4, 9, and 10. There's some encroachment issues. The builders are attempting to contact the landowners to see how they want to handle this, but essentially they have placed hardscape fire pits and patios that go, and then I think there's some landscaped areas that go across the lot line into those lots. So originally they had them as kind of outlots, but I worried about what was exactly going to happen to them because they would remain in the builders as outlots and then they would go to one of the lots, but they're not sure yet if the people who have the encroachments are willing to pay for that portion of the land. And there would have to be some things done in order to basically, I don't even know if that can be done because they're 2 different subdivisions. How does that work, Keith?
Well, I mean, if we made it an outlet, you could we just transferred that outlot to them.
To them.
Can you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Keith Volkowski, Riverside Land Surveying, 5304 Kelly Place.
Thank-
Weston.
Thank you.
So right now I have basically a contingency that they don't sell those lots until those three lots the encroachments get figured out.
You said 4, 9, and 10?
Yeah, so if you look, you can faintly see, Keith has it marked.
Oh, there's little circles.
Yeah, that's a fire pit. And then somebody has like a hardscape patio.
Are those lots buildable?
The lots
I
for,
mean, you couldn't construct anything on them?
no, they are buildable.
They are
The
buildable.
problem is they're gonna have this dispute because there's people encroaching. So something has to happen because otherwise somebody, I mean, if it's not fixed, there can become adverse possession happening too. So it's not really a village related, it's more them as the owners now of the property. There's gonna be some issues trying to sell those too, but those are those three lots. I didn't really know how to handle it the best way,
Well,
because we also have an encroachment issue in the road right of way with someone that that put up a shed without a permit. So off to the subdivision, like as you're coming into the subdivision, someone put is it a garage or a shed?
I think that's a.
Shed.
where is that located?
It's the first lot coming in.
So
At the end of Old Costa.
The Bushman
lot
lot,
11.
Bushman
lot
residence
6.
6.
Oh, okay.
No, the lot to the north. So right in that road right of way, they have a shed. So that was basically determined as part of this too. Actually, when Keith
Still.
got the property from the road right of way.
Well,
Dan Budleski.
I would think on our end, the cleanest way to do this would be to approve the plat and it would be up to the property owner to,
Right, I just
Sort
wanted
that out.
everyone to note that
unless I'm missing
going
something.
on there.
I'm with you. That's what. Yeah, let them slug it out.
This is a legal issue. with
Yeah, I don't think
them.
this is I don't think that's a
Two
village
property
issue.
owners.
We're not in a fight.
Unless it's I mean, the right of way.
Right,
one
and
is
that
kind of
will
an
contact them
issue, but-
via a letter, a certified letter, saying they need to remove it. There was no permit on file, so.
Get down that habitat.
Okay.
Want a motion?
Was that the only issue or was there something else?
No, those are basically, I have the sample, like the draft resolution that the board would. Right now, it does include, it just includes the basic, it starts on page 83.
And just to be clear, because I did have someone call me and ask about this. There's no immediate plan to build a bridge over 29.
No, it's in the future, so it's in the future.
But that could happen. It may never happen.
It may
We
never
don't
happen,
know.
but we had to plan for it as an
Sure.
access across, so that's been in the comp plan since 2015. So it's actually in our
Okay.
official map, and then the future
It's a
transportation. plan.
walking one, right?
No, it would be an actual drivable.
Oh, really?
Mhm. The whole idea is essentially the south side is going to develop, so it would give some another way across.
Access.
Yeah. And they're looking at, Michael has talked about there is some road right of way that could connect this subdivision out to give it another exit out through municipal.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, so long-term would be looking at essentially taking Municipal Street. And having it south and being able to cross the highway without snaking through neighborhoods or jogging the road, but that may be in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, who knows? As far as over the highway.
But at least the road right of way is there, that it can happen.
Yeah, we don't want to find ourselves in, I mean, we had some other sticky situations in the original neighborhood, so
Yeah.
I think planning now for the future is the right way to go. All right, what's your pleasure?
I move to recommend the board of trustees approve resolution number 2025-017, approving the final plat of the Granite Ridge subdivision.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Mumper, seconded by Zagami. on the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you very much for coming. All right, item number 9, review of proposed zoning code amendments. This is for the PC and ETZ.
Oh, I gotta find it again. All right. So thank you, ETZ, for coming. Oh, I'm stuck. Hold on. That makes the one really, really big. That one's really small. Okay, so when we adopted some changes in August, the Plan Commission and ETZ left out the greenhouses so that we could do some more research and talking with Mark Roffers on that section. He has helped us come back with the proposal that is before you. So tonight is just for discussion to determine if there's any changes that you want made or anything that you want us to do differently. And then we would schedule this for a public hearing either next month or in December. So if you look through the packet here, we've got kind of a step-by-step of what we're looking to do. So we have matters related to residential greenhouses, and then the portable outdoor storage containers were removed from last one before you guys took action. So we have done some updating on that. This removal was intended to allow further consideration on appropriate provisions, including a desire to allow portable outdoor storage containers in more permanent situations for non-residential uses within limits, and also address them in the agricultural areas. In the meantime, we had some discussions with some residents concerning chicken coops, residential chicken coops, and enclosure standards. So we talked through those a little bit with Mark, and so we're suggesting some changes to that. Also, so in regards to the portable storage containers, that is addressed in sections 1, 4, and 5 of the amendatory ordinance. The concept is to clarify the already existing rules for temporary storage containers allowed in all zoning districts by temporary use approval, and to establish a separate set of rules for storage containers used on a more permanent basis in our non-residential districts and the agricultural districts. Section 5 defines portable storage containers for both temporary and permanent use, borrowing from the current definition of temporary portable storage containers. Section 1 sets the parameters for them to be used more permanently as permanent containers by classifying such containers as a type of detached accessory structure for non-residential use and subjecting them to similar setback and other dimensional standards. Where they are in non-residential and mixed zoning districts, additional proposed standards were included in that section for these containers, include attachment to a foundation such as a concrete slab, not blocking required parking spaces or traffic movement, not having a floor area greater than 15% of the principal building area, and then not more than 3 containers except by conditional use permit. Installed and kept in good repair, only located within a rear yard area of a lot and accompanied by a landscaped buffer where adjacent to a residential zoning district or public street. The above standards would not apply in the agricultural zoning district, except that containers would be allowed in the ag district. So you could have 3 containers, and if they wanted more, they would have to do that via conditional use permit. So they would have the ability to have 3 of them out there. I don't know what you were thinking, Randy, a good number. I'm not sure how many people use, but we went with 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so that's what we chose to do. And then this last part with the temporary portable storage containers, that's when we talked about being able, because right now we don't have the ability for residences to use them if there's say they have a fire, or there's something that they need, natural disaster, who knows? But they need to have one for longer periods of time, and you guys were okay with letting us do that in emergency situations, and that section there allows us to do that. Does anybody have any questions on the portable?
Well, it's relatively complex, but I think you did a really good job.
I have a couple of things.
Okay,
If I could just ask, just so we're clear that for the agricultural, the intent would be that there's no permit required for any of these containers. And they can be located anywhere as long as it complies with the normal setback requirements.
correct.
But there's a limit on quantity.
Yes, there's three, yes.
Yeah.
But so on vacant agricultural land, they could be put anywhere, or does there have to be a principal use other than agricultural use? I guess I'm just trying to anticipate some things as to how this could be used or not used.
So for instance, like if someone subleases some farmland and they want to keep some equipment there and lock it up, that's what you're questioning.
Correct. In other words, these become more like these rentable, like we just had in here this evening.
Oh, sure.
Because they can put them out there. Can they put them out there? They're supposed to be for principal use and not for use to sublease to somebody else for their storage, right? How are we going to, or should we be looking at that? If it's a principal owner using it for agricultural purposes for the storage, as we all were thinking and are thinking, that's fine. I don't have an issue, but are we opening the door to something that we don't want to open the door to, or do we need to look at something when we set this up first
So
to preclude?
I think it's not allowed.
Yeah, I
Without
would,
the principal use, because if you look at, so it would be under section 1, the non-residential use.
Correct.
Because it says, number 2, shall not be constructed on a lot prior to establishment of a principal use on that same lot. Unless otherwise stated in this chapter.
I don't disagree. That's why I raised the question. I read it that way, and I also read it that if the land use is in use, so if it is being used for agricultural, you could, as long as what's being stored inside is related to agricultural, they're permitted. So that's why I raised the question. I'm not sure how to interpret it or how we would look at it. So I just phrased that because I'm not sure, because I don't think our intent was to have every 20 acres out there have 3 of these parked right upside next to the road, and with trucks going in and out, using them for storage for various things that may or not be related to the absolute principal use on that particular lot. So I just don't want us to
We can
have a bunch of,
clarify
all of a
it.
sudden now we got storage pods all along the road.
So you want to have it
So-
required on an active farm, not out in a field.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So just so that we're sure that we're all comfortable that it's a principal use on the parcel. There's another twist to this, I'll get to next, which is that we're really saying that these are non-residential use in non-residential areas, the ag. So then I raised the question about a residential business. So if you've got 40 acres and you have an approved residential business, now can your 3 storage units be used for whatever your residential business is? Again, I don't think that that's allowed, and I think that we don't want it to go that way. But as long as we're crafting the ordinance, we should make sure that we're looking at those issues. We've done such a great job of cleaning up the town in the last 40 years. I don't want to see us go in the wrong direction by creating something that we didn't expect, but someone can see that it might be something they want to do. And especially since these are non-permitted. I mean, they're just gonna start to pop up if someone's comfortable and interprets it as being allowable. And then we're chasing down those uses. So let's just take a peek at that before it goes to public hearing to make sure we're comfortable with how those are set up. And then the only other comment I would have is that I'm not sure that section D to number 6, that should probably be a number 7 and be a set off. And the reason I just say that is for clarity's sake, because we have number 6 ends up before the colon, it says except where colon, and then D is except within. And so you've got an except and an except, and it might be better to structure that notion in D in a separate number, because you're accepting the agricultural zoning and the temporary use. And I think what you're really just simply saying there is that within an agricultural zoning or a temporary use, a zoning permit under section 94-1604 shall be obtained or secured at whichever language 94-1604 uses prior to placement. In other words, you don't need a permit unless you need a permit, and if you need a permit, you have to have it prior. And I think that applies to everything 1 through 6, not just to the sub 6, so.
I would agree. I think that's a good catch. It's really confusing when you read that, so.
Otherwise, I agree with Joe. I think you did a good job. The reference to the humane officers, we still refer to humane officers in your chicken stuff. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Okay, just want
Yeah,
to be sure.
they do have, is it 2?
Somehow you have that
They
title.
have 3 humane officers.
Okay, okay. I just wasn't sure if that got changed through when things changed or not, so that was the only thing I caught my eye. And as to numbers, 3 came out of the air. Randy, I don't think you had mentioned or thought of what they were. I don't know if you feel strongly one way or the other on
I don't know.
what the right number may be.
So would it help if we permitted them? As far as, where they can be?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because in 6, it's pretty clear we want them rear yards. We want them behind, there's even buffers if they're next to residential and that stuff. And then these eggs, we're just letting them be put, no permit, and in any location as long as they meet setback. And that may be fine for that use. It's just that's what we're proposing right now. So I don't know if, my guess is right. If you're gonna want access to them the most of the time, you're gonna want them up close to the street. They're probably gonna end up being close to the street off a main driveway or a main inlet road into especially the vacant lots. I mean, we're talking a lot of vacant lots here. If you drive out Ross, that's all vacant land. And it's the same way on the south side, right? On the other side of 29 for the ETZ area. That's a lot of open ag land.
And if someone tries to operate a storage business on an ag parcel, that would be disallowed as it already stands, correct?
Right, they're only allowed via conditional use permit. I don't even know if they're allowed in the ag.
And it may not start that way. I mean, that's the other
I agree
thing.
with you. Somebody will end up doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think that it might end up where that might be,
Yeah.
because part of the reason we're allowing them is it is definitely a cost advantage to not have to have them. And in the ag, we're not even requiring them to put a pad down, right? So we just need to drop them off. But then once they get settled, And once one gets filled, there's probably gonna be two, even if that wasn't their initial intent, because if they have the space. And then it gets into the, well, my buddy's got a boat,
Exactly.
my other buddy's got a camper, or whatever can fit in them, and pretty soon, we might have these things. Remember back, you've been around long enough, you're saying the pole buildings that used to be built for their own private use, and then all of a sudden, everybody was renting their pole buildings out for boats to be put in and stuff, and it was the same use and the intent, it's just all of a sudden it was a business of renting out space rather than just being used for private. So I'm so old, I remember story. That's where I'm at with this. And so if we're proposing it, we should maybe think about some of that.
If we can think of it, for sure, someone else will, it'll happen,
Yeah, it's pretty convenient.
right? I mean, it's just a question of when. I agree with you. I think we really do need something in there that almost lays that out. This is not a provision to allow you to run a storage business on your property, right? On your agricultural property. Because I agree, that's how it starts. Oh, I got some space, you wanna put your boat in there? Sure, I can do tour, and then they're off and running.
I don't know, could it be like an active agricultural parcel? Like there's actual farming going on, or there's, instead of just dropping it off on a 20-acre parcel, like you said, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, the way the code usually is set up for these accessory things is it always refers back to the principal use and the principal thing on the lot. And so that makes sense. And that's all fine if there's a house there and someone's living there, then you say, well, it's gotta be related to what the activities are on the lot. But when you're talking vacant land, especially zoned ag, there's a lot of vacant tillable land out there and, I don't know, do they put would you put hay in them?
Yeah, the story.
So that's all acceptable. They're putting, that's the cheaper way for them to store their hay, right? Let them put it in, then those pods can be there. And I think that's fine. That's to the principal use. It's just, I don't know how we're going to stop them from not becoming something else if they're not permitted. We'll be chasing it rather than ahead of it.
Well, I mean, you get some of those larger parcels that are totally wooded. I mean, you can get one in the dark and turn it into a hunting cabin.
Well, that is another thing I hadn't thought about, but yeah, I've seen that actually. I just saw that last weekend where it was. Now that you say that, I hadn't even thought about that up north. I was in someone had dropped one of them.
There are
in.
people building like mini homes out of it.
Exactly,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. I just saw that now that you mention it.
It does say not occupied as a dwelling unit.
Unless it meets code, correct?
Yeah,
And it has to be approved by the building inspector.
correct. It is, I mean, the zoning code doesn't allow it. I mean, we all know that. How it's gonna be used, I don't know. And when they're not permitted, that's the thing. You don't know until you stumble on them or there's a fire or something happens and all of a sudden everybody's like, we didn't even know it was back.
I think that was really the intent is when it shows up, we need to have something there to enforce it with versus trying to run around and make sure that the pod count is accurate.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not trying to advocate that that would be permitted or anything. That's not what I agree. So I don't know, there are just some things that before it goes to public hearing, we want to make sure we're all comfortable when it goes to public hearing at how we might address it or look at it or how we have to think through, we would want it to be enforced. But the being up front off the road is probably, I mean, there's still our standards. It's still supposed to look good and stuff, right? That's outside of the subsection 6, if I remember correctly, right? I thought somewhere in there it talked about. No, that isn't 6, isn't it? So basically where did it talk about the rust in the?
6, 5.
Yeah.
So it's in 5.
Yeah.
6.5.
Oh, it is in 6.
6C5.
It is, okay. So basically, we're not even addressing what they look like in the egg, right? So it's nothing related to location, nothing looking, as to what they look like or any standard.
As long as it's not falling apart. That's so. V shall be furnished and maintained with a durable all-weather material kept free from rips, tears, holes, right?
Which one is that?
Rust, 6C.
Yeah, but if you're in 6, that's not applicable to the agricultural. Right, didn't we, isn't the intent that nothing related to that applies to the agricultural zoning? Might be in the summary that you had at the beginning where you said that
No, I think, so if you look at
the
six,
above standards would not apply in agricultural zoning districts. Was the intent, and that's, I guess, how I read all the exceptions. So the 6 sub I through 7, 8 would not be applicable to the 6C would not be applicable to the ag.
I guess the way it's verbed, I mean, to me is, I mean, except where used as a temporary portable storage container. A, B, located on agricultural zone district, or up to 3 at any one time. C, located within a non-residential or mixed-use zoning district, meeting all of the following standards.
But the C zoning districts, the 94.2.02 sub 3 specifically only applies. So your non-residential or mixed use zoning district is defined in 94.202 sub 3 as an INT, B1, B2, B3, BP, LI, GI, and RM.
Yep.
So that excludes the ag.
Is there
So-
certain standards that you would want in?
Well,
there?
I don't know. I mean, maybe some of those should be for all of them, regardless of what zoning district, right?
I would think specifically that,
Definitely 5.
yeah, it shall be maintained and durable, weatherproof, no rips, tears, holes, seam breaks, that one. Disrepair that substantially impairs appearance.
Anyone else feel like this needs to come back again?
It's kind of the way I'm feeling.
I mean, I think there's enough, I think you brought up enough things that I personally would rather see it be revised and brought back before
Yeah,
we
we can do
schedule
that.
something.
Yeah.
Wait long enough there, Mike.
Is that enough on the portable storage containers? We didn't, because you didn't go through the greenhouses and
No.
chicken coops yet, did you? I mean, that seemed pretty straightforward, but I don't know if anybody had any comments on that.
The chicken coops, just basically what it does is clarifies a little bit more. What the coop area is and then the run area. So there was a little bit, having it 30 square feet for the coop and run was just too small in some situations for the types of chickens that they were using. So basically that section, it clarifies that it can be as close to 10 feet from the home on the same lot, but it still has to be 50 feet from any other home. It expands the minimum coop area per chicken from 3 to 4 square feet, but still within a maximum of 30 square feet of coop area based on a better understanding of animal health and sanitary standards. Sets a minimum coop plus an outdoor enclosure area of 75 square feet based on some similar attention to standards, and then makes some other minor changes for clarity. But yeah, that one was pretty minor.
Anybody have anything else they'd like to add for Jen to take a look at before this comes back?
Still keeps it to 5 chickens.
So do you feel you need to move on the greenhouse and chicken coop portion sooner, Jen? Do you have anything pressing?
No, we have a lady who has. So originally I was gonna have the lady come talk to you and she has kind of ignored us, but her coop is too big right now. So this would address hers, but we could just hold off until you enforcement on it until you guys get to this, but.
You couldn't make a motion tonight though regardless, because
Yeah.
you still have.
Yeah, we'd have to have a public hearing. I'd rather do it all at the same time.
There's 3 options for recommended language. If you guys want this to come back, you'd be looking at number 3 on page 90.
That would be my thought. I'll set everything else, makes me want to move it forward. I'd rather see it again.
Would staff rather have it come back one more time before we go to public hearing, or do you want to take a shot at it based on what we've discussed tonight?
It's really up to you guys.
Yeah, does ETZ want to come back in November? Are you okay with that?
They would have to come back anyway, so
We have to
they're
be
either
here
gonna have to
regardless.
now come back November and
Sorry, I
December.
didn't-
Or they just come in November.
I said we have to be here regardless, so I guess
Yeah,
it's up to
that's
you
true,
guys
yeah.
if you want to create another meeting for yourself.
Well, I was just thinking, right, if there's a preference or what you have for public hearings coming up and that kind of stuff, I mean, whether we want to talk about it one more time before it goes, or if you just soon get the public hearings
It doesn't matter.
finished in November or whatever.
Do you think you got enough tonight that you'd be comfortable going to a public hearing based off the?
I mean, we can still make
conversations
changes at
You
the
can
public
still
hearing.
change
Yeah.
it.
We can make these same comments and make changes before it goes to the board. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure that, you know, how much more there is to discuss. These are thoughts that are out there and it's just. They can come up with something that, this is pretty doggone close to the way it is now. There are just a couple things to button up.
Yeah, so my notes are clarifying that it's with an active farm, not a farm field, not with a residential business use. And then that the standards for number 5 there, letter V, you want that in ag also.
Does that sound acceptable to?
Well, I'm wondering if we shouldn't permit them, so we know where they are. I don't know.
I mean, we can do that. It's up to you.
Anybody else's thoughts?
I just think the advantage in permitting is that emergency services knows what they're walking into potentially better than that. Disadvantage is that it's more paperwork for.
Well, if we get into permitting them, then we're gonna have to assign addresses to the locations of, on some of these parcels that are unaddressed. So if it's vacant property that's unaddressed parcel, then it's,
Well, but I have it that it's on an active farm,
right, okay.
so it's not, they're not gonna be out in the middle of the field somewhere.
I don't think it needs to be permitted.
I'm sorry, didn't hear it.
I said, I don't think we need to permit those.
They're primarily gonna be in the town, so I guess it's up to you guys. I mean, I don't know if we'll have a lot.
And like I said, the only concern I could see, I just, you know, I do a lot of driving and I see a lot of these farmland, and I assume that it's land that's being subleased by someone else that doesn't have a principal use there, and they'll bring those containers in to store. You know, if they're, I don't know what they're doing, if they're picking stuff in the field, they're storing tools and things like that in them. Maybe some equipment, I'm not sure. That's, so in those types of situations, there's not a principal use, right, on that property. They just put them in the corner out by the road. So is that what you're getting at? Like, do you want to allow those? I don't have a problem with it as long as it's not more than 3. Cause I can see their use in an ag area.
Again, as long as it's related to ag, I think that's what the whole intent was, to allow them. It was that no one had an issue with that.
I think with the language we put in, I think it gives us a leg to stand on that if we notice or you notice and you report that somebody's using it not for ag,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
something could be done
yeah,
about it.
I mean, that's it. I mean, right? I mean, if you permit them first, then they're gonna tell you it's being used for ag on the property.
Regardless of
And
what-
then you're still gonna call if you think it's not, right? So I don't see that whether there's a permit or not,
I think
that
it's
that's a
just creating more
difference.
work for everybody.
And so I'm not sure the permit actually gets you past that. But on the other hand, I guess public safety, do they care or not care and that kind of stuff? I don't know.
I don't know that they're really gonna know. I mean, regardless,
That's my only.
they have
bit of
knowledge on where
guidance.
the fire hydrants are. They do commercial building inspections, but they're not going out into.
Right.
So I don't think that's really
Yeah, I mean, it's not now, I guess, and you never know if there's a camper back in the woods or not anyway that's on fire. So I don't know that these would be significantly different for them as far as what they're thinking they're gonna attack. Someone says there's a fire, they're right, they wanna know whether it's a structure fire or is it the field on fire, right? Well, in this case, it might be both if it's one of these. So I'm not sure their response is gonna be, initial response is gonna be different, but maybe. So I don't know, Randy. I'm not sure that would it be nice to know where they are? Of course it would be, but I don't know that the intent was to have it a permitted use. But the risk is if you don't have them come in and permit, they might be more creative than we're even thinking tonight, so. How, can three of them stack together be, I mean, what?
I can
Yeah,
already see Randy's.
exactly, you know.
I can already see Randy's wheels turning.
Yeah,
How
I
can I
know.
get 6 of these on my property?
I don't want to wind up along Ross Avenue either, you know, that's the thing, but.
Yeah, so. I mean, if someone puts up, space for rent, I guess we all know it's not being used for whatever, but. What other use, I'm not sure, so.
We can always make changes if it ends up being an issue.
Well,
too.
sure. It'd be nice if we do our best to
Right.
eliminate what we think would be the most problematic, so. But going back to the original question, so I think they can draft something that could be ready to go to public hearing, that if we need to tweak or change, if no one makes any public comments, it's just gonna be us approving or disapproving whatever gets recommended, so I'd be comfortable just having it come back if they're willing to
need a
do
motion
it that
for
way.
Yeah, I have that on there.
So the ETZ will have to make a motion and then planning as well. So on page 90, that's what we're gonna do, number 2. We'll work with that.
Okay, so I'll move to direct staff to schedule a public hearing on the draft ordinance amendments in November 2025 with the exceptions that we considered.
Second.
Are you on ETZ? No, we have to do ETZ first. Does not matter.
Don't you usually like them to do it first and then you guys go second? Is that how you do it?
That is normally, but
They normally do it that way, but
Okay, fine, folks.
do you have changes that you're gonna make? Other ones? Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion by Jordan, seconded by Mumper. On the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So carried for planning. And then if someone on ETZ would like to make the same motion.
I move same motion from ETZ.
So we have a motion by Hall, seconded by Christensen. On the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So carried. You guys like to get out of here? You can adjourn now if you'd like, or you can stay for the fun, it's up to you.
How much more fun is there?
There's, I don't, it doesn't take very long, Gabe.
Hours.
Take it off.
Baseball game to go on.
Oh, who's
All
playing?
right. Number 10, September 2025, staff approved certified survey maps and site plans.
To acknowledge.
Motion by Zagami, seconded by Mumper. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number 11, September 2025, building permits.
To acknowledge.
Second,
Motioned by Mumper, seconded by Deason. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So carried. Number 12, Planning and Development Department Project Update Report.
I have my report in there. The only thing I will say is that our new assistant planner, Audrey Webster, will be starting on Thursday. So she will be at the next meeting. We are very excited to have her on board. She's a recent graduate of Point and has worked with the city of Wapaka as an intern for since May. So she's just finishing up. So she's got some knowledge already of code enforcement and building permit issuance and things like that. So we're looking forward to having her on board. The only other thing is I will email everyone a league summary that I received today. And there's probably going to be more coming through, but you just need to know that there's some changes that are coming in regards to housing that are going to require us to do some things to the zoning code most likely in regards to the ADUs, which are the accessory dwelling units. And also there could be some changes required to basically how we do our comprehensive plan future land use maps. So hopefully they have that figured out now that we're getting into that stage of things with Mark starting in 2026. So it's going through, I think the assembly, it passed through. I think there's a hearing on it Wednesday. But it seems to be a partisan bill, so things have been moving really, really fast on it. So basically there could be some local control taken in some things that we have to do with our zoning code. But I'll send you some more information on that, just so that you're aware of it.
Anybody have
If
any,
you've got any questions from my report?
anybody have any questions for Jen? We don't need to make a motion on that, do we?
No.
All right, item number 13, announcements and commissioner and committee remarks. Mark, do you have anything? No. Dave? No. Andy? No. No. Dave? Swear?
I was just wondering, how's Weston Avenue going? It seems like they're still digging holes in the ground and putting pipe in.
They are.
And so, winter, I mean, are they gonna, is that gonna be opened up and finished here?
It should be, yeah.
Hopefully. I just have had several people asking and well, I needed to ask and find out what the scoop was.
Yeah, the mainline pipe run should be done roughly by the end of this week. And I think right now they're looking at middle of next week to start paving and probably not finish paving until the whole road is done. So there's a quarter mile right now that they could start paving. About another quarter mile that'd be done by the end of this week. I think in all, we've got a little under 3/4 of a mile left, or right around that, so. Or is it a mile with 3/4 that's available to be paved? Except the utilities are kind of in the middle part that's left to be connected.
So it's gonna be Thanksgiving.
Just maybe before that. Hopefully,
So the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Still.
That's
before.
I think it's November 14th is the due date for them, so,
14th or 15th.
yeah.
Thank you.
Roy, anything? Joe?
Good.
Shane?
Good.
I don't have anything. Next regular meeting date, Monday, November 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I presume that'll be for ETZ as well, correct? Future agenda items or staff referrals. Anybody have anything they'd like to see come back? No, all right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for ETZ.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Phelps, seconded by Mumper on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, and then motion to adjourn for planning.
Yes.
Motion by Decent, seconded by Zagami on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, we are adjourned, 7:25 p.m.